The ocean crashes against jagged rocks. Fog rolls in thick, swallowing the coastline. And through the mist, a lighthouse flickers. Its light cuts across the water, but not steadily, like something broken. It pulses. It falters, almost as if it's breathing. Locals say if you stare at it too long, you'll see shadows moving inside the beam. Not birds, not clouds, figures. The old lighthouse has stood for more than a century, perched on an Appalachian cliff where storms slam the coast without warning. It should be a symbol of safety, a guide for sailors lost in the dark. But here, it's a warning. For those who look too closely, swear the light doesn't save lives. It claims them. And tonight, we step inside the Appalachian Haunted Lighthouse, the beacon of the damned. The first lighthouse keeper was a man named Elias Crowder, a quiet soul, hardworking, known for spending weeks alone with nothing but the sea and storms for company. But his neighbors noticed something strange about him. Whenever Elias returned to town, he spoke in half-whispers as if someone might be listening. He kept his lantern covered, even at night. And some claimed he never slept at all. His windows glowed until dawn every single night. The lighthouse itself was a marvel when it was built. A towering stone cylinder, its beacon fueled by oil and fire, warning sailors of the razor-sharp rocks hidden beneath the tide. But locals didn't see it as progress. They saw it as cursed. They said the land it was built on was once a burial site, a place where bodies washed ashore from shipwrecks were buried in shallow graves. Others whispered of older things, ancient, forgotten spirits tied to the sea itself. Elias didn't seem to care about the rumors. He took his post seriously. Every night, he climbed the spiral stairs, lit the lamp, and let the beams stretch across the water. And every night, he claimed he heard voices in the fog. At first, he wrote them off as the wind. But the voices grew clearer. They whispered his name. Sometimes they begged for help. Other times they laughed. His logbook, later recovered, was filled with entries like, "The voices circled the tower again tonight. They say the light belongs to them. I fear if I stop burning the flame, they'll come inside." The villagers noticed Elias's appearance change over time. His eyes sank deep into his skull. His skin turned pale. And when asked about his condition, he'd only say one thing: it's the price of keeping the light. Some believed Elias went mad from the isolation, but others believed the lighthouse wasn't just guiding ships. It was feeding something waiting beyond the shore. And then, one stormy night, the light went out. The night Elias disappeared, the storm was unlike anything the coast had ever seen. Waves rose taller than houses. Lightning cracked so close, the air stank of burning salt. And for the first time since it was built, the lighthouse stood dark. Sailors approaching the cliffs had no warning. 3 ships were torn open by rocks, their screams echoing across the water until the sea swallowed them whole. By dawn, wreckage and bodies washed ashore for miles. The village mourned but also feared, because when searchers entered the lighthouse, they found no trace of Elias. The door was locked from the inside. His boots and coat still hung by the door. The lamp was unlit, the oil untouched. And on the final page of his logbook, scrawled in shaky handwriting, were just 6 words: "The light belongs to them now." After that night, no one wanted the job. Yet the government couldn't leave the lighthouse unmanned. So new keepers were sent. Each one stayed for less time than the last. Some claimed they saw Elias's shadow climbing the stairs, even when they were alone. Others swore they heard footsteps pacing above them at night, though the tower was empty. And more than once, the light extinguished itself, plunging the coast into darkness, right before a storm. By the 1920s, the lighthouse was notorious. Locals called it the beacon of the damned. Fishermen avoided sailing near it, and travelers whispered of a figure at the top window, waving, not to warn them away, but to beckon them closer. In the 1950s, the government finally automated the light. No more keepers, no more logbooks, but automation didn't end the horrors. Because the beam still faltered, it still pulsed like a heartbeat. And witnesses along the coast claimed that when the light struck the fog just right, they saw faces inside it, drowned sailors screaming silently, reaching out. The lighthouse no longer needed a keeper. It had found its own. By the 1970s, the lighthouse stood empty. Its windows shattered, its door rusted shut, and the sea gnawed at the cliff beneath it. But abandoned places never stay silent for long. Local thrill-seekers crept inside, daring each other to climb the spiral stairs. Some came back shaken. Others refused to speak at all. One boy, barely 16, swore he heard voices circling him as he climbed. Not whispers this time. Chanting, low, steady, and human. When he reached the top, he found the lamp cold. But the glass reflected something that wasn't there. Rows of pale faces staring back at him. He ran and never returned. Years later, paranormal investigators brought equipment into the tower. They recorded footsteps pounding up the stairs when no one was climbing. Cameras caught bursts of static every time the light flickered outside. And one investigator, standing at the top, claimed he felt a hand grip his shoulder. When he spun around, no one was there. Locals say the tower is alive, that it breathes with the tide, that the spiral staircase never ends, that if you climb long enough, you'll find yourself going higher than the tower should allow. And if you don't stop, you'll reach the top room, but never come back down. The scariest story comes from a fisherman who anchored nearby during a foggy night. He said he saw the lighthouse beam suddenly ignite, though the building had been out of use for years. The light swept across the water, and for an instant, he saw a massive crowd standing on the rocks below. Hundreds of figures soaked, broken, their mouths wide open in a silent scream. When the light passed again, they were gone. Even now, hikers who wander too close to the cliff swear they hear boots on the stone steps. Others glimpse a figure pacing at the very top window, lantern in hand, waiting. And if you stay long enough, the light will turn toward you. It always does. The truth about the lighthouse is buried in centuries of fear. Every shipwreck, every drowned body, every scream swallowed by the tide. They all left something behind. And the light? It isn't just fire or electricity. It's a doorway, a beacon, not for sailors, but for the souls lost at sea. When the fog rolls thick and the beam cuts across the waves, people say you can hear them. Hands pounding on the glass, voices clawing to get out. Some beg for rescue. Others demand you join them. A few who linger too long have vanished without a trace. Tourists, teenagers, even a seasoned paranormal team who swore they'd be back before dawn. Their boat washed up days later, empty, its lanterns still burning. To this day, the lighthouse still flickers. No keeper, no fuel, no power, just that steady, pulsing glow, almost like a heartbeat. If you stand at the cliff's edge and watch long enough, you may see the shadows moving inside the beam. And if the light ever turns and lands on you, don't look too long. Because it's not guiding you home, it's calling you closer. And once it does, you'll never escape the beacons of the damned. If you made it this far, you've survived the lighthouse, at least for tonight. But there are darker stories waiting in the Appalachian mist. So if you dare, like this video, subscribe, and step into the next tale. Because in places like these, the dead never stay quiet.